Welcome to the Gambia, a nation on the rise, investing in the future through education, research, science, and technology. This time, we explore the transformative journey led by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Sciences, and Technology. Let's delve into the ministry's current implementations and futuristic vision.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology is implementing a reform agenda. And this reform is focused on expanding access, and equity. And around this, we have projects with the University of the Gambia, basically the completion of the Faraba Banta project. We also have some expansion projects relating to the new university, of applied sciences, engineering and technology, that is USET. We have also a policy on at least one TVET center in each administrative region of this country. Basically on access and equity, these are the projects. We also have another program in the reform, support for quality, education agenda. This is the ministry responsible for human capital formation. With human capital formation, you are looking at competent people in the workforce that would increase productivity. So in the absence of competence, you would not be able to talk about productivity. To be able to do this, that is to ensure that the youth fit very well in the labor market. We have NACA, that is the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, and with NACA, we've rolled out, a qualifications framework. This is something that would ensure that there is quality assurance in all the post-secondary institutions, that are registered. And at the same time, you have the right programs run in these institutions, and the students that are coming out, have what it takes to fit in the labor market. There is also this demand side interventions that goes on to build market-driven or market-relevant skills training. This is the main agenda now. We have these TVET institutions and ensure that entrepreneurship is embedded in the curriculum, so that once students graduate from these TVET centers, they should be in a position to create jobs for themselves. If you look at the USET program, it is built on this principle. The two new TVET programs or institutions that are coming up will also be built on the same principles. You have the Josuan Center, which would have an innovation hub. You have also Ndemban, you have Kanilai, you have Julangel. These are all centers that would be equipped, with some form of innovation to ensure that when the youths go through their program, they end up learning the entrepreneurial skills. And to do this, the teacher factor is very essential. That is why we are turning Gambia College into an education university. So with that, we should be able to pump in the right, caliber of teachers. And again, for civil service, I talked about productivity. The Management Development Institute is also being transformed. So that you don't just appoint civil servants like that. They have to go through the system and understand what the jobs would entail, and they are trained along those lines before you put them in the system. So this is a reform that has been picked up by the government of the Gambia, and the Management Development Institute is coming in to address those problems for the government and for the country. We are also enhancing research and development through university industry linkages. Even though we are going to come up with a fund on research and innovation, we already have another fund established as SIE, Skills Innovation and Entrepreneurship Fund, which is going to look at 3 windows, give students, tuition fees, provide institutions with, the infrastructure and the requisite programs they would want to run, and also help Gambians, come up with startups, and train them, guide them, until they are fully established in the market. Also, in the pipeline, we have the establishment of a research center, in the Gambia, which will be one of the 2, in the world. One would be in Latin America, and the other would be in Africa, and the one in Africa is going to be here in the Gambia. You imagine a situation where top-notch researchers be gathered in the Gambia looking at solutions, for the world and for the Gambia. We are very much concerned about the financing, of tertiary and higher education institutions in the Gambia. So we've come up with a financing model, and currently we have 3 bills in with the National Assembly. The bills currently at the National Assembly are: 1, the Students' Revolving Loan Scheme. With the Students' Revolving Loan Scheme, we would provide a revolving fund, that would give access to students to apply to pay for their tuition fees. And at the same time, we are creating a situation where the youth or the students would now start contributing to their own education. The other bill is the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. This is going to be open for institutions in the Gambia, mainly public institutions, because this is money that would be coming from the central government for the start, but we are also going to have some initiatives to make sure they have enough for all these institutions in the country. Third one is the Research and Innovation Fund. We are contributing very little, to research. And how do you develop if your policies, your, decisions are not based on, empirical data, empirical findings? For development to take place, we have to invest in research, support young researchers, build research capacity, and with the coming of the research center, which is a global initiative, we have to have the capacity ourselves to be able to fit in that center. Otherwise, we will be here, we will be seeing people coming from different parts of the world doing the research. And the Gamren, like I have been, singing, all around, it's also coming up. This is a situation where, our researchers and our educationists could easily be connected to other researchers and educationists in other parts of the world.
Advancing technology and fostering international cooperation are pivotal to the ministry's strategy.
The Gambian, as only in the acronym, is the Gambia Research and Education Network. It's in line with a global trend that seeks to provide real-time internet connectivity to institutions, both at training level and also at research level, to be able to access educational resources as well as research resources. But at the same time, it provides access to big data in terms of transferring research and educational resources. It's an initiative that has been done within the framework of the WADI project that is being run by Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy and the Ministry of Higher Education. In terms of progress, we've gone a bit far, because already a needs assessment was done to see what would be the unique requirements of establishing a REN in the Gambia, because there will be connectivity issues that needs to be factored in, that is in terms of internet, but at the same time, at the level of the institutions, there needs to be a platform that would support the effective functioning of the REN. So all that has been done, and at the level of the institutions, the UTG has been piloted to serve as the institute where it will be done. And already the needs assessment was done in terms of the ICT equipment requirement to host the REN. And the point of presence, which is called the POP, will be at the East Landing site. And with support from GAMTEL, we will be doing the backhauling. In terms of governance, there's a steering committee that has been established and co-chaired by the two PSs of MOCTI and MOHERST, and a technical team looks at all these aspects in terms of providing the internet connectivity, in terms of ensuring that since we are going to be connected through the Wakren backbone, which Wakren being the West and Central African REN, which will also connect us to the global REN. And in terms of services, there is a lot that the institutions can benefit from. You can have single sign-in, and in this, what you mean is, if you are a student that is at UTG, if you are connected to a network that is under this REN, if you are to go to MDI, you don't need to ask for a security password. Just get connected. They have edu-roam services where even if you roam outside the Gambia, and if you get to any network router that is connected with the REN, with your single sign-in, you can access resources. And the system allows the opportunity for the institutions to create their own online team systems, like in terms of meetings and a lot of other ICT opportunities. We had initially identified all the equipment requirements for establishing the REN, for the equipment you will need at the POP, which is the landing site, what you will need at the backhauling end, that is Serekunda exchange, and what you will need at the last mile. The last mile meaning where exactly the number of routers and also the transmitter points that you will need at the level of the last mile. So all of that was done, and now we are working in line with World Bank regulations for a design and build procurement process to ensure that the pilot institute, that is UTG, will be lit in terms of a REN before the end of 2024. And this, as part of the plan, is expected to connect all other public and private research and training institutions, since it is a system that is here to serve every individual operating within research and education institutions. Organization of Southern Cooperation, as called OSC, have reached out to the Gambia to provide support in building capacities in research and development. So, as part of their expansion, they are headquartered in Addis Ababa, and they've expressed their interest in setting up a multidisciplinary lab. When I say multidisciplinary, this means like doing research in different areas. So, as part of the processes leading to establishing this lab in the Gambia here, the ministry had received a technical team from them here sometime early this year. In terms of the support they will provide is human resources to work on these labs, and at the same time they've expressed their willingness to even construct new facilities. So at the side of the recipient end, which is the government of the Gambia through the ministry, we are working on the logistics to see where to domicile the multidisciplinary lab. At the initial stage, we are thinking of putting the first labs at the UTG Farabak campus, whilst we look on the logistics for ensuring that we have a dedicated space to build the multidisciplinary labs. And in terms of prioritizing which areas we will look at, a technical committee comprising members from OSC and also the Gambia here, looking at involving researchers and also people in public policy. We've done that in line with the national development priorities as outlined in the IROA, So we are working on the first draft in terms of implementation roadmap, which will be shared by the end of this month for OSC, and then the implementation will get started. And as it is, the OSC research facilities will hire competent research personnel, both at the administrative and also the empirical side, to ensure that we as a country, as the Gambia, benefit fully in terms of cross-border research, but at the same time also research that really affect our own socioeconomic requirements. In terms of the ministry and the wider government plan for innovation and scientific research, to ensure that we have technologically oriented and scientific citizenry. How do we achieve this? We must build capacities. So in building capacities, it's both in terms of human capacities and institutional capacities. At the level of the human capacities, we continue to provide training both at bachelor's, master's, and PhD level for Gambians to be trained in specialized scientific areas, both at engineering and also ICT level, but also covering STEM and medicine, to make sure that in all the priority sectors we have competent human resources to handle those processes. But also, training alone will not suffice. We need to build competent institutions. For this, the government's futuristic policy view was to establish USET, Gambia's first premier University of Applied Science and Technology. The new edifice in the USET Brikama campus is expected to complete in November, mid of November 2024. But at the same time, it doesn't stop only that. You provide it with the much needed laboratory equipment and teaching facilities. Now, to be scientific alone doesn't make things to work. The global trend is to ensure that you have scientifically oriented individuals that ensure that they are innovative and entrepreneurial in nature. We have done an assessment in our curriculum and introduced a new paradigm in terms of curriculum approach to ensure that we have innovation and entrepreneurship included in the form of an embedded approach as part of engineering and TVET curriculum that we run in the institutions. At a practical level, what this does is like you are ensuring that you provide the youth skills, that is scientific skills and competencies, but at the same time you are providing the business minded and entrepreneurial skills, so that as they graduate, they would not have to depend on government or other individuals or institutions. The ultimate objective is to ensure that we provide competent personnel on all our institutions, and for this we are open to partnerships at the level of higher education. We are opening our arms to every Gambian or resident in Gambia who is interested in building their capacities. So our primary objective is to build capacities. Development is a collective approach, and that every individual in this country has a stake in this development. With all these giant policy drives that has been going, we would require the partnership of every Gambian or institution in this country to ensure that the ultimate objective of the National Development Plan, which is very, very clear in terms of what it seeks to achieve.
Aligning education with the labor market, implementing TVET policies, and leveraging international partnerships are key to our educational success.
This directorate, we are in charge of TVET. And for TVET, our work is to do with engagement with industry. And whenever we are developing our programs of study, the ministry will need to engage the industry. We work with the National Accreditation and College Assurance Authority, NACA. They will work with the industry players. First, we develop the occupational standards in a specific trade area. Let's say, for example, construction or carpentry or fashion. So those players that are within the industry will come and be part of this panel, so that we have at least the market intelligence, so that when you train these people and they leave the training centers, when they go out, they can fit well in the labor market. Without which, when they go, they would have to be retrained again. So it's of essence that whatever we do, the relevant players in the market are part of the discourse. We have started working on establishing sector skills councils. For example, in the field of construction, we have a council. Agro-processing, we have a council. ICT, we have a council. And also, we are currently working on having those in fashion and hairdressing. So we are trying to see that all those people that are in the industry have a stake in whatever we do, especially in developing programs that are relevant to the labor market. There is also plans when we transform the college into university. There will be a department or a faculty of fine arts or performing arts. Now, this faculty or this department would be in charge of music and all its relevant areas, okay, in terms of drama, in terms of theater, even in terms of photography. So I think we have a new way of doing things now. Rather than leaving people to be doing things at the different corners, we want to have at least a formalized training for all these people, so that when they go out, at least they'll be able to express themselves in the market. The current TVET policy was developed to support the ministry in mainstreaming all our programs. As part of the 9 pillars, we have access to TVET. How do we ensure that people are able to be part of the TVET ecosystem, most especially those in the rural areas? So we ensure that at least every Gambian has the opportunity to participate in the TVET education of the Gambia. So currently we are building TVET centers. Also, we have the plans to establish an agro-business TVET center in the CRR, one on fisheries in Combo South. So these are some of the developments we want to do in terms of increasing access to TVET. Also, you have relevance to TVET as part of the policy drives. We want to ensure that when we deliver programs, the programs are relevant to the market, so that when these graduates leave the training centers, they can find work or be able at least to create their own jobs. One of the pillars is the apprenticeship and on-the-job training. Now you find, when you go out, you find workshops here and there in the country. So how do we support those people? And how will you support people already in their jobs to enhance their skills and ability to perform? Okay. We also have, as one of the pillars of the policy, trying to digitize the TVET ecosystem, so that at least people can be using digital tools to be able to train in TVET and be able to access information through that. Another one is TVET data management, which is very important. Without the data, we cannot be able to at least to ascertain making the right decisions. So it's of essence that data is very crucial in supporting our initiatives. And then also having the educational management information system, by which we can integrate both the labor information, the education information, and basically the training aspect of it. so we can have information that is available to the public. Another fundamental one would be funding of TVET, because TVET is a very high investment sector. Without the funding, you cannot do TVET. So we are trying to see how best we can have a robust TVET funding mechanism that will support us in implementing our TVET programs and activities. And one aspect of it is also in terms of the trying to improve the image of TVET. Because in the Gambia, when they see someone doing carpentry, construction, they look low upon you. So we are trying to see how best we can improve that image in the country, so that the young ones can be able to embrace TVET, because TVET pays a lot. Now, a TVET expert or specialist would earn more than somebody like me sitting in the office, because for them, they are paid most likely daily. If you do work today, you are paid. For us, we wait for the month to receive our salaries. The other aspect of it is to do with how do we integrate into the job market. And so we have those students that have been trained in TVET to be entrepreneurs and be able to feature well in the job market. So these are basically the 9 pillars of the policy, and the ministry is working to see how best to implement it through collaboration with our partners. Well, for the Commonwealth of Learning Initiative, they have supported the ministry recently in developing the Open and Distance Learning Policy, which is called the ODL. So our partnership has been very good. We have been working with the call, I think, for the past 10-15 years, and they have been supporting initiatives in education and in skills development. We'll be implementing another project that is to help us implement the ODL policy that has already been developed. Well, open distance learning in the Gambia, currently what we are doing is that we are using the blended learning mode. That means some programs will be online, and then some programs you do it face to face. Okay, so you can see that during the COVID-19 pandemic, you can see people were not able to go to school face to face, but they were able to do their classes through online. So call is to help us also to be able to streamline those programs. The Gambia College currently is trying to digitize some of their courses to be used online. So these are some of the ways that we are using, able at least to implement the call programs that have been supporting our initiatives in the ministry here. The relationship is and the collaboration is in terms of working with them through sector skills councils, as I said earlier, because we cannot do it alone. We need to engage the industry players. Most especially, we have been working with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Most of our activities, especially in TVET, they participate. And we have also players from the industry also who take part in our activities. For the government, through the Ministry of Higher Education, we are currently embarking on a transformation agenda, and this is to ensure that we increase access to tertiary and higher education. The government is currently transforming public tertiary institutions into universities. Now, GTTI was transformed into the University of Science, Engineering and Technology. The Gambia College also will be transformed into the Gambia University of Education. The intention is to have a specialized University of Education. They will only concentrate on education. NDI would be transformed to the Civil Service University. Okay? And basically they will look at the issues of the public service, the civil service, and even also the private sector that will be doing administrative management. The government is doing its best to ensure that the human capital development of the Gambia is enhanced. Now, with the level of development and skill level of our people, they can be able to man all the relevant positions in the country and even participate in the international endeavors okay? Because when you train people, they are not only meant to be working within the country. We can at least export labor to other countries, because we have seen other people coming here to support us. And what happens is that the benefit is to those people, because when you come to work to a place, when you're going back, at least the remuneration is yours. So we would like also to have that in the country to ensure that our people are well trained and they can at least be able to move out and work in other countries. For the youths of the Gambia, the paradigm shift is towards pivot. We ensure at least every Gambian has a skill. With this skill, people are able to be self-sustaining or self-sufficient in whatever they need. And they will not be able to depend on people or handouts. So that's my message to the Gambian youths. Let them endeavor to enlist in one of these development centers around the countries and enhance their capacity and their skills.
The Gambia College is expanding its horizons with new initiatives and facilities to cater to its growing student population.
The establishment of the University of Education in the Gambia comes as a result of the transformation that is taking place in the tertiary and higher education sector. The Gambia College is being earmarked to be the University of Education, where it will bring in the School of Education of UTG, and we will also hand over our 3 other schools, that is the nursing, the public health, the agriculture, to the University School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, and our agriculture school will go to the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences of the university. So we will take over the School of Education of the university plus our School of Education to establish the new University of Education. The plans include the rehabilitation of the existing facilities at the Birkama campus. There are also 2 new blocks being built, and there we will also continue to expand on the accommodation as far as the increase in numbers would be factored in the new University of Education. The basic college helps us in the reaching out to people who under normal circumstances may find it difficult to come to Birkama or to the urban areas to stay, so thereby depriving some of them from access to tertiary and higher education. So we are bringing tertiary and higher education to the doorsteps of the people in rural Gambia, and you will see that women who are married and have young families who under normal circumstances would not be able to leave their families to come to Birkama for one reason or the other would now have access to tertiary and higher education. And also because some of the teachers that are trained in the urban areas may not want to be posted in the rural areas. So if we have people that are trained in the rural areas, the opportunity to stay and work in those areas is greater. So we are able to also increase the quality of teachers as far as teacher education is concerned in the rural areas, because those that are coming from CRR, North Bank, LRR, URR have the opportunity to be trained in the rural areas and work in the rural areas instead of coming here and refusing to go back. So the rural-urban drift is being minimized with that establishment. The establishment of the tertiary and higher education institutions, they are upgrading into universities, will help in making the Gambians more employable, because their skills and their knowledge would have been improved. If people, especially teachers, have access to improve on their tertiary and higher education level and still work in this education system, I think that would be helping in the recruitment or the ability of individuals to be recruited to work in higher levels. And also the establishment of other institutions will also empower the youths to get the required knowledge and skills to be able to work anywhere in the world. It helps in improving the quality, it helps in the retention of manpower, it helps in the employment and employability of the youths of this country. What I would want to advise the public is that they must take education seriously. And now that the Gambia College is being transformed into a University of Education, all the teachers should endeavor to upgrade themselves. The facility is for them, the sky would be the limits, because even as an early childhood educator, you should be able to continue with your ECD up to PhD. And that will help not only you, but the nation in terms of improvement of quality teacher education. So everybody should come on board, get recruited, study, improve on yourself, and benefit the nation.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology is paving the way for a brighter future in the Gambia, where knowledge and innovation drive progress. This is brought to you by the Ministry of Information as part of its public consultation and popularization of the government agenda initiatives.